So this is my prediction, right? This is my personal prediction for the 2026 World Cup. I think Spain is going to win the World Cup. They are definitely, a title contender, not just based on recent performances, but on other factors like their squad depth, the current level of some of their players in the starting lineup, and just the balance as a squad that they have is, makes them my personal pick to win the 2026 World Cup. They're up there with Brazil and France in the top three strongest national teams right now, in my opinion, right? England, Croatia as of recently, and Argentina could definitely be in that mix as well. Actually, I would include Argentina in the top four alongside Brazil, Spain, and France as the favorites to win, right? But this is my own personal prediction, right? So, if a year from now Spain ends up winning, I'll come back to this video and it'll be interesting to see the comments, right? So I'm just calling it now. Spain is going to win the 2026 World Cup. They're just a really well-balanced team, right? Their starting lineup is great. Perhaps their weakest point is, their defense and their center forward situation. But that's not to say that their defense is bad by any means, right? I mean, they got Cucurella, they got the likes of Laporte, Normand, Asensio from Real Madrid. They got experienced center backs and in their squad. They got Danny Carvajal, for example, on the right back position, who still has a lot to give, in my opinion. Their midfield perhaps is the best in the world, right? With Pedri, Rodri, and Fabian Ruiz, which seems to be their starting lineup, right? And again, they got a lot of players that can come off the bench and easily rotate with any of those three, right? Gavi, again, is a very talented young player that they have, and obviously the star, the crown jewel in their squad is Lamine Yamal, who is one of the best in the world already, which is crazy, right? He's only 17, 18 years old, and he's already crushing it. They got really good wing play with Nico Williams and him on the wings, right? And they got a seasoned veteran in Alvaro Morata, who has very good hold-up play, and he's definitely a very experienced, talented player, right? And that's not to say that, he has a world of experience, and he's not that old. I believe he's 30, 31, right? So he has a lot to give still. Oyarzabal seems to be the backup option with their center forward position. But again, that seems to be their weak link alongside the defense, right? Who knows from the time, from now till the World Cup starts, maybe, a seasoned veteran will really hit form, and, it'll be excellent, an excellent addition to the Spanish squad, maybe a player that hasn't recently made the Spanish squad. There's always that player that just kind of steps it up those last few months before a World Cup starts and ends up being on the list. So maybe something similar will happen with the Spanish squad, right? But if they don't, again, they have two really good options with Oyarzabal and Morata, right? It'll be interesting to see what Brazil does, right? Now that Ancelotti is their head coach, and Ancelotti is a very, attack-minded coach. So maybe that Joga Bonito will come back to that Brazilian national team that just seems to have been lost these last decade, right? Which is very sad to see, honestly. Football has just become very robotic too, right? Everybody's just concerned with, just having every detail of the tactical game, handled, and there's no room for creativity or personal uniqueness, right, in the game. It doesn't seem like, because if players do that, right, the coach will just take them out or not include them in their formation, right? So hopefully with Ancelotti, some of that Joga Bonito flair comes back to the Brazilian national team, and if it does, it'll be interesting to see how far they go, right? Because they definitely have the quality to go all the way. As far as dark horses go, I mean, Croatia has really been doing well these last, two World Cups, making it to the semis and making it to the final, right? So maybe Luka Modric has one last cup in him, but I don't know, man. He's not the player that he was, obviously, right? But he still has that quality that's undeniable, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down, right? So who knows? Maybe he has one last hurrah in him. Other possible dark horses that, could pop up in the World Cup. Norway, if they manage to make it to the World Cup, could definitely be an option alongside Sweden, right? Sweden have a very good attacking front line, right? And their midfield isn't too bad, but as far as their defense and goalkeeping situation goes, it's not the best, obviously. But again, they got the player quality in there that could, potentially make them a dark horse candidate. And who knows, because the World Cup is taking place in North America, maybe one of Mexico, the U.S., or Canada manages to break into the quarterfinals, right? That'll be interesting to see, especially considering that they have, the fans behind them. So maybe one of those three makes it to the quarterfinals and beyond, right? So this is just my prediction. It's June of 2025. And again, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. I'll see you guys in the next one.